too real. Two bad bitches like Lou Will.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 4 of the THATFIT podcast. A very special guest today, close friend of mine, who's obviously gone through a lot of change this year, and that's what THATFIT is about, is creating change for yourself and continually to get better as a person, as a human, and hopefully help those around you get better as well. So today's special guest is Ty van der Meulen. How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. Good. Ready?
What have you been up to?
Mate, just a open home today and working.
Yeah. All right, man. So obviously it's towards the end of the year, 2021. What's been the most, special moment for you this year? If you look back on a certain moment that you look back on, doesn't have to be work-wise, just in general, in life and stuff like that. What sort of one moment that sort of rings a bell that really made 2021 a good one?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a moment that most people would know, but it's a moment for me that was the light bulb for me changing career this
Beautiful.
year. So down in Coffs Harbour with my partner's family and having a real deep chat with her uncle at the farm and just talking about life, and then sort of had an opinion that he thought I would be really good in real estate.
Okay.
And I'd never been open to it, never thought about it.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was a bit of dwelling on that, considering it. And then I just went, I need to do it. So I got home on the Goldie and I said to my partner, I'm just going to book the course. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it out there. And if I have nothing that comes from it, no worries.
Yeah.
But to me, by doing that, that was about 6 months ago. And by putting those things in place, that really helped the transition for me. So
amazing, bro. So that's really special, actually, and you're right. That not many people would find that a special moment, but in the case of where you're trying to head, that's a big step. So had you ever thought about doing what you're moving into now, real estate and stuff like that? Had you ever had a thought about it? Or was it that certain conversation, or was it, you'd see stuff online and stuff like that and be like, you know what, I could be quite good at that? Was it something like that, or was it a build-up of thoughts and planning over time, like this is something I could go into, and that conversation was the key to really getting you over the line?
Yeah, that was definitely the key to getting me over the line, that conversation. But I think it started from about 2 years ago, I would say, when I met Caleb. And for me, I was always in sales. I loved it. I got really intrigued by how the mind works. And to me, meeting him working in real estate got me super intrigued and started asking questions, and then, got a little bit addicted to making an income. And that to me opened up opportunities. And I think, then meeting my partner's family, who are big in property, that really just put the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And that made things sort of a bit more founded, a bit more serious conversations come from that. And I think then for me, it was making the decision to change career. And as I mentioned before, it's something that's very strange coming from something that you feel good at and you feel founded. But I think the opportunities that will come from this is a lot bigger.
For sure. So obviously you spoke about being around Caleb there. What did you learn in that time? Obviously you guys have lived together. What are some of the things that still stick with you now that you sort of learned being around him?
Yeah, I think the initial thing for me was his mindset. I never come from thinking about bigger things too much. I was just living my life day by day or week by week. Not thinking bigger picture.
Yeah.
And for me, it was seeing someone that was only a year older than me having a much bigger mindset to me.
Yeah.
And that became very addictive to be around.
Yeah.
And very quickly, things started being put in place and things were happening for me.
Yeah. So obviously with that, you spoke about mindset. So I'm keen to dive into that and your mindset around it. So what was your mindset like? Obviously you mentioned a little bit with you're living day to day and now you're thinking bigger picture. What was your mindset around that, back to where you were living day to day and now thinking bigger picture? What are some of the changes that you've been able to go through?
Yeah, I think for me growing up, it was always about just having fun, giving it a crack, trying to be the best possible me. But then Now I'm a lot more happy in myself. So
Yeah.
now I can start to focus on how my life will look like in 10 to 20 years. Where before it was probably just finding myself. So now my mindset's changed a bit. You know, I write down my goals. I make sure they're achievable, smart goals, nothing out of this picture. And then, but also having someone around me at the moment as my partner, Maddie is amazing in regards to having her mindset switched on as well. And that to me is super important because the days that you have a tough day, a stressful day, it's good to have someone there to go, no, switch out of that.
Sweet, yeah.
Get back to that mindset that you had. And it is super addictive to have someone like that.
Yeah.
And then I think, you know, surrounding yourself with people like yourself who has that sort of change in their life at the moment as well makes you then think, you know, that's an influence as well for 100%. You to go bigger as well.
For sure.
So, yeah, mindset's huge, mate.
So what's the main thing that you'll sort of focus on with your mindset? You spoke about goals and stuff like that. Is there anything that really stands out that consistently you've been reiterating throughout the year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I live by is I was good yesterday, but be better today.
Very good.
So, you know, we can be satisfied with the results, but never satisfied enough that we can't do more today.
Yeah.
In my mindset, that is me in a nutshell. Like, turn up tomorrow and be better than what I've done.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that, living day by day on that. And that to me just pushes me.
Yeah.
I don't need... Yeah, it's funny. I don't really need motivation videos anymore. I used to.
Were you someone that used to
love it?
Bro, it's the weirdest thing, right? So when I was, you know, younger like you, you'd used to watch these motivation videos and you'd just be like so G'd up and it lasts one day. And it's the thing is, it was never the motivation. It was the discipline you had to build around that motivation. So that was funny. I was the same, bro, because I'd watch like, you know, hype up videos of like NBA and stuff like that. And I'll be like keen to get out there, but it just was never the discipline. So in terms of that, like, how has your discipline changed around life now compared to where you were back then when you were younger?
Yeah, I think coming from team sports like footy and touch and so forth, and that teach me a lot of discipline to be a team player.
Yeah.
What was, I think, hard for myself was coming from a team environment to an individual environment. And I never really did individual sports.
Okay. So how did you find that change coming from team sports to individual? What were some things that you had to change, or some things that you already had as an individual that you could implement as being an individual? What were those changes that you had to sort of make?
Yeah, I had to find structure.
Yeah.
I had to find clear goals, structure that, you know, if I put it out there, I'm going to get it done, and then I can move on to the next.
Yeah.
That to me was becoming who I was, and as a leader, that always, you know, I always thought I had to turn up better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Even if I am not the leader, I still want to be the best.
Yeah.
And, you know, coming from a team environment, everyone wants to work for each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, you know, things I put in place is literally just writing down what I want to achieve.
Yeah. So you're someone that writes down their goals and stuff to get really clear on it? Did you
yeah.
used to do that?
No,
because I never used to do that. You'd be like, oh, I can remember that,
Not at
right?
all.
And it's just like, even now where I do a lot more journaling, writing down, getting shit out of my head, because you just can't remember it, right? You got so much going on in your life that you always forget stuff. So what is it like to write down compared to, do you find that weird? Did you find it weird starting to write shit down?
Yeah, like to me, you know, New Year's, everyone goes, oh, I've got New Year's goals.
New shit,
To me, it was, I don't know, I never found a thing till why I had to write down goals. I was like, why is this important? Like, I think I was just young and I was a different part of my life.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because you put it down and I'll look at it in New Year's this year and I'll go, holy hell, I actually achieved those things.
Yeah.
And not that I've actually looked at it all year.
Yeah.
But by me putting it out there,
self-consciously,
I know that it is there.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool thing, I think, to do. And I don't know, mate, like that just motivates me myself, like just putting something out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm a now person. So if I want something, I want it now.
Yeah. And I had the best quote about that from a guy called Naval Ravikant, and it was urgent with your actions, patient with your results. And I think I remember listening to that like maybe last year, and it still sticks with me, man. And anything that I think of now, that's probably where my mind goes to first, is that urgent with your actions, patient with your results. And it's hard to build that discipline, but obviously with you writing that stuff down, that it really embeds it in your mind. It puts it out there. I don't know if you're a person of like that spiritual sort of thing where you put it out there and it'll come back to you in a sort of certain way. So speaking of that, do you journal a lot and stuff like that or anything like that? Or are you more writing down your goals and stuff like that?
No, like I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
However, I would say I revisit it.
Yeah.
When I feel like I'm in a slump or I'm in a complacent mode.
Yeah.
So, complacency, I think, is the worst. I hate complacency.
Yeah.
Like, and hate's not a good word to say, but
yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that.
And that to me is definitely when I need to revisit my goals.
Yeah.
So I've got a whiteboard at home.
Yeah.
It sits somewhere where we can see.
I've got that whiteboard in my room, mate.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. That's like the first thing you always wake up. So
yeah, definitely. And it's just something that it doesn't need to change for 6 months. It really doesn't. It might change in a week.
Yeah. Because what do you think? Are you like a 3 month, 6 month? Are you a yearly person for bigger goal and break those down into more smaller goals, I guess?
Yeah. So I'll try and do a small, a medium, and a big.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's all I'll look at. So pretty much, you got to be within reason, I think, sometimes, and understand what a big goal takes to achieve.
Yeah.
So I'm big on, if it is a big goal, how do I break that down to a daily goal? How do I break that down to a half-a-day goal?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to get there? Where it becomes so effortless, like that you get there and you're like, oh, it's happened.
Yeah.
So that's sort of, I think I've learned that from sales and numbers and how numbers work.
Big numbers guy.
Oh, yeah. Like
loves a number.
Yeah, numbers don't lie.
That's the thing, bro. They actually don't.
Yeah. And that was the biggest, I think, learning lesson in sales that I've learned that's helped me to get to where I am.
Yeah, for sure.
Is, if I want an income
of this amount,
I actually need to be picking up the phone this many times in the day, because my numbers are not going to lie and they're going to get me there.
Yeah,
and you just trust the process.
Yeah. That's super interesting. So obviously, you at Fitness First, there, you're obviously the sales manager there. Obviously, going from individual back to, you're still individual in a certain way, but having a team around you. What did you have to learn? What did you learn in that period of time where you were at Fitness First as a sales manager? What did you have to become? Because there's a certain amount, especially when you're leading people, you have to become a person that can gel a team. So how did you sort of go about that? Yeah,
so I've always come from, I don't want to be the best in the room.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely subconsciously think, that's what I need to do, but I don't need to be that person.
Yeah.
So I've always been a team player. I think coming from team environments, you know what it's like.
It's always in you, eh? It's kind of weird. Still now, I still want to be around a team, and obviously now I'm very individual in most aspects, but I miss it. I miss it being around in a team environment and stuff like that, because it's a good energy when the team is really clicking. So, how did you create that energy?
In the
team?
room? Yeah. So I did a few things, mate. I decluttered the office straight away.
Yeah. It's a good start.
Yeah.
Most people would just rock in and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. And I've got no problem chucking stuff
So
out.
you sort of went with changing the environment to create a new environment?
Change the environment. Environment before, to me, needed a change.
Yeah.
Needed a change. And sales is big on energy.
Yeah.
So decluttered. I made a wall in the back of the office that was, our wins wall. And that was all our certificates from the top 3 in the state, every sales awards. And my goal was to fill that entire wall and that entire office with those certificates.
Yeah.
And that to me was, as soon as someone walks in that office, it's a winning feeling.
They see it, yeah.
Yep. So then it starts from there. And then I think it starts from having a clean desk, a clean mind, and leaving whatever you walked into the gym with,
Yeah.
leaving that at the door.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're in the office, you're on.
Yeah.
And I just put those simple things in place, led from the front,
Yeah.
did exactly what they should do, and everyone respects you. You don't need to be that leader that yells at people.
Yeah, I was at people. That's a good question. Is what kind of leader are you?
Yeah, I think I feel I'm an influential leader because I lead from the front, and I would never expect someone to do something that I wouldn't do. But I think that's also important to keep up by doing things that you normally wouldn't do as a leader as well.
Yeah.
So keep challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
Keep challenging your own teammates.
Yeah.
Get them to
How
challenge
do you sort of
back.
go about that? Challenge your teammates, because even though it's one of those things, right? You have a good month and you sort of, like you were speaking about before, you get complacent, right? It's just like everything's breezy. So how did you continually challenge your team members to really continue to push forward?
Yeah, so we got lucky, or we didn't get lucky. We worked for it. I shouldn't say we
that's
get
right.
lucky.
You don't just get lucky, right?
But we were consistently number one in the state for a long time.
Yeah.
And to me, that was a moment of we can't get cocky,
Yeah.
but we now compete against ourselves.
Yeah.
So every day, it's how can we be better than yesterday again?
Yeah.
And how can we be better than the team last month that we put the efforts in? And to me, it was, where is the limit? There is no limit. It's about how much we want it. And it comes down to meticulous goal setting.
Yeah.
Understanding your team, understanding what makes them tick.
Yeah.
And going with that, because not one person is motivated by the same thing ever. And I think it really come down to my goal settings at the start of the month that got them firing for the rest of the month.
Yeah. That's very interesting, because you're talking about knowing your team members and stuff like that. How did you sort of go about that? Because I feel like it's easy to bring people into an environment and just be like, hey, this is how we work. But for individuals, as you said, everyone's different, right? And they have different backgrounds and stuff like that. So how did you sort of go about that, getting to know your team members to really know what makes them tick?
Yeah, so I think you need to be social with the team first, or you need to be social with those guys. So it doesn't look like you're a leader almost outside of work. But
you're
then
just like a friend, right?
Yep. But then I think it's also understanding personalities.
Yeah. Because I remember talking to you once at the gym, and you're going through, there's like the personality thing. It's actually interesting, and I personally never thought of anything like that, but it's so true that everyone has their own certain personalities. And so what sort of brought about that? Did you find that somewhere about the personality thing?
Yeah, I actually got put into a program with the fitness lifestyle group, and they sort of started talking about people development and people management. And I learned it from that, and it's called DISC profiling.
Yeah.
And each, letter stands for a different type of personality.
Yeah.
And then you also have, other things that puts you on a graph of an emotional scale and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it, like, to be honest, you may only take one thing from it, but to me, it took me to realize that everyone is different.
Yeah.
And it helped with my relationships, with friendships. It helped with team.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I now understand how someone reacts to things.
Yeah.
I now understand what sort of personality they might be.
Yeah.
I can't always guess exactly what it is, but I can maybe understand a little bit who you are.
Yeah.
And what responds best with those personalities. Yeah. And it is super intriguing. So if anyone is watching and listening, I think DISC profile, look it up and understand who you are, because you can do a little test and it's really interesting.
100%. And it's that thing, like, if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself, and what you see in yourself is exactly what you see in others. And obviously before, when you're younger, you wouldn't have seen those qualities in someone else because you didn't see those qualities in yourself. And obviously growing as a person, gaining experience, and to where you are now, it's so important to continually refine yourself and understand yourself more. And speaking of understanding yourself, how do you, in terms of life and stuff like that, obviously you want to understand yourself more every year. You want new experiences. You want to help yourself grow. What do you do to sort of work on yourself and sort of that aspect taking you obviously away from like the team environment now individually. What do you do to sort of really challenge your mind and continue to grow and see different things in the world?
Yeah, I think never seeing, like, there's always opportunities out there, and it's understanding when you see an opportunity to go for it or understand what that means. So what I mean by that is, you know, Fletch shared a video with me one day in the sales office of this guy in real estate, Matt Steinway. Yeah. And to me, it didn't mean much to me then, not at all. But then when I started to think about real estate more, I started to go, oh, I might actually bring this guy back up again and watch it. And, mate, I've listened to every single podcast of his now. Like, I love the bloke. I think what he's done is amazing. Yeah. But that to me is an opportunity to learn. Yeah. And I saw that and I took upon myself to do that. Then I think it's also about, you know, starting the day right. Like, how do you like to start your days? Yeah, mate, I'm not actually a big trainer anymore, to be honest. Yeah. I'll get up. Me and Mads will go get a coffee and we'll go for a beach walk or a walk along hedges. We so really you like love to clear your mind. Yeah, clear the mind. Start the day right. I think it's important to have that time with my partner as well at that time. And then, mate, I'm back at home, 6:30, having brekkie, getting the day done, and I'm ready. I'm ready at that point. Like, mate, if I could start calling people at 6 a.m, I definitely would. Yeah. Like, the first thing the other morning, went for a surf super early. I subscribed to a real estate gym trainer. Yeah. And to me, it was 4:40 in the morning, but I just subscribed to someone because I want to learn. Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm firing. I'm ready in the morning. So I think the morning is super important for me because if I don't have that and I sleep in, I'm there till 7. Yeah. Mate, like, I need those couple hours before I actually get 100%. Into work to have my own time. Yeah. Because you're just taken up by phone calls. This person wants that person wants that. If you can't work from a clear mind, you're just not going to be able to present yourself or be with that person to understand their needs at that moment that you're trying to provide a service. And it's something that I had to figure out as well. It's like you really have to do that priming in the morning. For me, it's obviously taking care of the body, a little bit of journaling, writing down gratefuls and stuff like that. But you really have to get yourself in a mindset to really accomplish what you want to. Otherwise, you're just going to get eaten up by everything else, especially being in what you're doing on the phone, emails and stuff like that. So it's super important. Yeah, mate. I think, you know, in the industry or wherever you are in life, you're always attending to someone else. Someone else, yeah. So you just need to attend to yourself a little bit. And I think that's a little bit of clarity that I just need every single morning to get me going. But yeah, when you think about it, mate, like if I'm picking up the phone 100 to 150 times a day, cold calling, no one's expecting my call. 100%. Like, you could imagine 80% of them are telling me to F off or I'm not interested. Yeah. So it's not really good hearing that all day. But you learn in that industry that that's expected and you just, what's next? Yeah. So I heard a thing the other day and it's, you know, print out the word next in front of you. Yeah, true. That's and really just reading that word, I think, you know, really resembles with me. Like, don't eat up on the last thing. Yeah. What's next? 100%. Yeah. So obviously talking about the big change in your life this year, moving into real estate, what has that meant for you in terms of, obviously you're 25, 26, and we were just talking about it before, is that you sort of want to be in a position where you're set up by 30. So was that also another thing that you're like, I really need to make this change now because that's sort of a goal that I've got, is that I want to be set up by 30. And now obviously being in it, what are some things that you've had to learn? What are some changes that you've had to make? Yeah, look, I think, you know, as I said before, I'm a now person. Yeah. But I do realise as I'm getting older, like, patience is key and things don't happen overnight. I look back to my last job and it took me 4 years to get to where I was. Yeah. And that was a really good thing for me to see because now I realise there's a time game. It's a time game. And time never stops. It's the one thing that's never going to stop. We'll never get that back too. So for me, it's do the right thing now, change career. And it was actually a really blessing sort of moment for me because the industry I was in, I was really thankful. They actually wanted me to move up in the role.
Yeah.
And that to me was the kicker to go,
hey, there's something actually bigger that I can do.
there's something bigger.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and I saw that position. I didn't see it as something that wasn't bigger, but at the time I thought, I think I can do more than this. And to me, I learnt how to sort of work for myself now. I learnt how to actually motivate myself now. Like, I don't need to have that team environment anymore.
Yeah.
And that to me just went, I'm going to do it. I think I can trust myself. I think I can back myself.
Yeah.
And
do you think you would have trusted yourself if you don't go through that 4 years of getting yourself into the position that you did? Obviously, finish first.
Yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. I think, without having that, I probably wouldn't back myself the way I am doing today. Yeah. And I'm hard on myself, mate. Like, I've only been...
That's the thing. Everyone is, And even myself, I'm like, why? Like, come on. Like, you can be better than this. And it's just like, it's never about that. It's just like, hey, you think from a better perspective where it's like, if I wasn't that good today, it's because something else was going on. I didn't write things down. I didn't do that. I didn't tick off those boxes that I needed to that day. So it's not about being hard on yourself. It's like you just skip the steps. You're trying to rush things and stuff like that. So
and I think satisfaction for me is hard to find. And
especially when you're driven, right? It's just like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah, like I can have a good day.
I'm like, nah.
And people will be like, oh, well done. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, something's sitting not right with me. Like, I really think I could have maybe done 2 or 3 more calls. But it was maybe my mindset at the time that I went, I think I've done enough. It's like, it's this weird battle between being satisfied and your mindset chasing that. Yeah. So it's, I love it. I love it for that. Yeah. And I don't think I couldn't not work in another industry that doesn't involve some type of sales now. Yeah. And the reason for it is there's unlimited potential of, getting to that next win. Like, for me, there's nothing more satisfying of having that mutual connection after you didn't want to talk to me. Yeah. But now I've had a chat with you and you actually want to deal with me.
And you end up being like friends as well. It's just like, fuck. Like, from someone that was like, I'm not interested in your call to like, hey, congratulations on the new place. Like, that's an art. It's actually an art, right? And it's a skill that not many people can have.
Yeah, and it's so simple. It is so simple. Like, a lot of people, first thing they do wrong is they just don't say hello, or they don't actually treat a person for a person. Like, it's all about business.
Yeah, it's just like, how am I going to sell this house to this person?
Yeah. So it's, for me, get to know the person first before you do anything. Just get to know them. Yeah. And then you can start to talk business. But if I don't know someone first, I'm not going to talk business. Yeah. Because I'm just going to shoot myself in the foot and it's going nowhere.
For sure.
So, the best thing I think I've always took from when I was young was my dad first said, because he works in sales, and he said, always find common ground first. If you can find common ground, you're doing well.
100%.
And to me, that's all about then finding life and finding that wisdom of touching points with all different ages and people, because that's that common ground I might have with someone one day. So yeah, man, that's huge for me. That's my first thing I always go for.
100%. So speaking of obviously being in real estate now, who are you with at the moment, and how are you finding it?
Yeah, mate. Like, I'm at Renee Morgan Realty. Yeah. And I can't love it any more than I do. Like, I think
good team there. Is it a very big team? How many people work for the company?
Yeah, so it's a boutique agency. Yeah. So it's not.
What does that mean? Like, what does boutique mean?
Yeah, so boutique I think is small and interactive to me.
Okay.
I think it should take you to a new level of experience.
Okay.
And I think to me, the thing that drawn me to this was it was a family straight away. Yeah. Now, I met Renee through the gym.
Okay, yeah.
So I ended up actually getting her a membership at the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't at that time that we connected with that. But it was only due to putting her onto Lockie as a PT that then when I started chatting about this, we reconnected. Yeah. And she took me in and she said, look, even if it's me mentoring you.
Yeah.
I would have loved that from the start.
Yeah.
And that to me really connected because that was like, I don't really know this lady.
Yeah.
But now she's almost become my real estate mum.
Yeah.
And that to me was huge.
Special to me. Yeah, it's like, fuck.
And yeah, mate, like everything I've asked for, she's done. She's super supportive.
Yeah.
And
how long has she been in it for?
she's been in the industry herself 10 to 13 years.
Oh, mad.
She's had her own experiences that she's learnt from. But I think to me now,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we can really take this to a new level.
Sure.
Like I really feel big things coming for it.
Yeah.
And that to me is I wouldn't go somewhere where I didn't feel that.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing is that you want to go to an environment that you can really grow in. And it's for most people, it's just like, oh, give me a job here. But for you, obviously, you're like, I want to fit where I can really, grow as a person, and obviously in real estate as well. So, what has that growth been like so far in real estate for you? What's been some tough times already, and what are you most excited about?
Yeah, like so it's been a month and a half.
Yeah,
not long.
That's super new, eh?
But to me, it's about now. The first thing I've realised is it's about making a relationship with every single person. And
that's the interesting thing is that people see real estate for the houses and the multi-million-dollar houses and stuff like that, but it's the funny thing about life is that it's actually about the relationships, right? So how are you going about building those relationships with the customers?
Yeah, mate, like I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm getting to meet so many new people.
Because you're quite outgoing. You speak really well to people and stuff like that. Have you always been like that, or is it something that you've had to develop?
Yeah, look, I think I'm quite blessed that I was brought up with a younger crowd. Like my parents were really young when they had me, so I was brought up with their generation. So I always had to learn, I think, to speak with adults first, then children. And I think I'm really blessed to think that because I can now happily go and have a conversation with an 80-year-old lady and sit there. And so that sort of helped me a lot. But I think now, mate, it's so exciting. Like the other day, I phoned up this lady and she couldn't, she has an eyesight problem. She couldn't see the document on the computer. And I said, look, I'll come around and I'll drop it around to you. Beautiful. And, I don't know this lady for a bar of soap. And went in, knocked on the door and she come out and she collected and then we got chatting for 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden she's welcomed me into her house. We're sitting in her garage for the next 30 minutes talking about life. And I felt so good after that because that to me, nothing has come from it. Nah. But I now know someone else. Yeah. There's new connections from it. I'm going to go down to the Lions Club at Burleigh now and volunteer.
Learn someone. That's the exact thing because most people, they wouldn't do that. They'll be like, oh, you'd have to get a family member to show you. But you taking that and going down there, showing that to her and speaking with her, you would have learned something new, whether you knew it or not, but you would have learned something about the person that gives you some experience of life through them, which is super important, especially being 80 years old. Like they have some wisdom, they have experience, and to take that time out really shows that obviously one, you care, and two, you're interested in people, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's it. I think if you're not in it for the people, like you need to get out of it because it is a people game. Yeah. And the one thing that doesn't stop with this game is the prospecting side, people, and it's talking. Yeah. So, like I think houses sell themselves, mate. Yep. Like anything sells itself. But it's about how you connect with the person is what counts. Like any industry, you're selling a water bottle. Everyone has water bottles, but if you were influential and you had a really good connection with me and you told me maybe why I need it, and connected with that, like, mate, I'd buy it.
100%.
Because I'm bought to you, not the water bottle.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, amazing. So a month and a half and coming towards the end of year 2021, 2022. What is that starting to look? Are you looking towards 2022 right now? And what are some things that you're really striving for in 2022?
Yeah, man, pipeline's building up for me. Like 2022 is the year to prove myself.
Get stuck in,
So for me, it's for me. I've got goals of minimum 2 to 3 listings a month, which is, I think, not unachievable. But I think it's it will be a challenge for my first full year in real estate.
It's what you need to.
But that to me is then working out how many connections I need to make with people. And 2022 I think is something to really. I've got nothing to lose, man. I've got nothing to lose.
That's the thing about that FIT, bro. I was speaking to a friend at the gym last Saturday, and I was just like, this is like warm up to me, like this. For that FIT and everything, it's like, this is a little warm up, man. Just give me a whole year with that FIT. Just let me build this thing out and let's see where we can take it, because I genuinely think we can take it places. And obviously for you're the same. Like, just give me a full year. Like, it's hard to sort of adjust mid-year, and obviously a month and a half in, that's so new. You're still new to the game, so you got so much to learn. But 2022, it's just like, give me 2022, like.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I always go back to like how we think of year. Like, why do we always get to January and think it's a reset?
Yeah,
like it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that's how we've grown up and how we see stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that blessing of the year turns around.
Yeah,
it's January.
It's super weird because it's one day, but it's like you sit back and it's like the whole refreshment, like it's a whole new year.
Yeah.
It's super weird. Because do you believe in like New Year's resolutions and stuff?
Yeah, to an extent.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I think nothing happens unless you influence it in some way.
Take action.
But yeah, mate, I definitely think things fall into your world for what you are and who you are. And that to me is special. And I think where you're at right now, I think you have a big future ahead of you, because you're taking the step to do this.
Yeah.
And by doing this, mate, you're going to attract so many more people that you won't even know right now. But I tell you, in a year, you're going to know so many more people because
which is exciting, but and that's the thing. It's like about meeting new people, being around people that think different than me as well. Obviously, it's nice being around people that think the same, but consistently putting yourself in an environment or around people that think different just really make you think harder, make you think smarter. That's what's most exciting to me, and being able to work with people that like yourself that really want to innovate and just think of life a little bit different, you know what I mean? Obviously we like to have fun and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but I think true growth comes from putting yourself obviously first out there, and then around people that really want to find something in life that's really meaningful. So that's super cool.
Yeah, and man, like, it's fun.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Some people think giving up the partying is not fun.
Yeah,
like, man, I love my life. Like, I've got no 100%. Stress.
But this has been the year where I haven't drank nowhere near as much, and I'm having more fun than ever. So it's not. It was never the partying. It was never the partying. That was like, fuck, that's the only way to have fun. You'll be surprised if you changed a few things in your life, how much more fun you would have. And then when you do party, it's a celebration of life. It's not escaping your thoughts and stuff that's going on in your life.
Yeah, and to me, it's I've been there. I've been there where you try and you escape in a feeling, or you're just trying to find maybe who you are at the time and so forth. And everyone's got to go through that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it's when you find you. Nothing can hold you back.
It's like weird. It's like you feel this really good comfortability, but at the same time, it's just like I'm still not who I am, who I want to be either. So it's just like being super comfortable in your own skin and being like, fuck, that's somewhere where I'd like to be. So it's just like you get laser focused on it. So it's a crazy aspect for sure.
Yeah, and it's something that your biggest fear is always going to be your biggest limit. Yeah, and it's so true. Like, if I thought about something today and I wanted to start it, why is it stopping me? Like, nothing is actually
stopping. It's yourself. It's that resistance as well. Like, you naturally know what you want to do, but it's the resistance of what people may think and stuff like that. But it's never what they think. It's just yourself. You're stopping you. Yeah. And on the other side of that fear is the success that you're going to get from consistent hard work as well. So it's never the fear. It's just always yourself, and being able to look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm exactly where I need to be, and that's where I want to go. Yeah,
100%. And I think, to me, I started that sales sort of coaching business not too long ago, and that to me was something at the time. I was just so frustrated with seeing, personal trainers at the time had so much passion to help people.
They just didn't know how to go about it.
The biggest thing that let them down was how to sell themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not a hard thing, but they got so much pressure around them that. And that to me was, I just saw too many people pay too much money to the gym, funding it, not making a cent, and having so much passion still. And that to me was like, how can I help them somewhat understand you need to learn how to sell yourself a little bit more? And that's everything in life, man.
Yeah. Well, 100%. I mean, we talked about on the phone was that everything in life, it's just like you want to have a girlfriend, it's like, well, what value are you going to give to her? You know what I mean? And if you can't find any value like in yourself, then you're not going to find value in anyone else as well. And it's a crazy thing. But I want to ask you sort of about just in terms of life and lifestyle now. What do you get into outside of work and stuff like that? What do you like to do?
Yeah.
What's something that you really take your mind off everything and just get away for a bit? What do you like to do?
Yeah, I'm big on having a good lifestyle for me. I'm a Saggy at heart.
Yeah.
I love to explore. I love to try new things. But I've also got that real country boy sort of feeling to me as well. Like
You're
love
from Roma, right?
Yeah.
That's real country boy. And Dannyville, where I'm from in New Zealand, that's all I ever knew. I grew up on a farm, family farm. So that's one thing that you really miss. But I think it's something about being brought up in a small town, and especially on a farm, that no one else gets to experience, and you got it yourself. And I definitely have it myself, is that you crave a bit of adventure. You crave a bit of adventure. You crave just getting out there, doing random things as well.
And you got to make the fun.
Yeah.
Like the best thing I think when I grew up out there was you got to make fun.
Yeah,
there's
you
no
have to find something, right?
Like,
it's just like you're scrabbling under the shed or something. You find something, and you just like, I remember when it rained.
Yeah.
Or we had like these timber boards, and we'd put like snow, ski little boot things in them. And we'd just go riding down the hill, bro. And it's like, exactly, you have to make the fun. And we'd make like bike jumps on the farm and stuff like that. And it's that creativity that makes you think about things a little bit different.
Oh, mate, like I've got vivid memories of going down this creek bed. And look, Roma doesn't have any water supplies unless it floods. So this creek bed was dry sand and, mate, burning my feet. But we go for kilometres trying to run as quick as we can to the next water puddle.
Yeah.
And that to me was some of the funnest memories, I think.
And still is, right? It's just like, man, I wish I could just
no
do
care,
that again.
didn't think of snakes, didn't think of what's out there. Like, you just don't think. 100%. But the best thing about it was that. And I think now for me, it's simple. I can go and put a rod in the water and go fishing and love it.
100%.
Because that's 2 to 3 hours that goes like this.
Yeah.
And mate, like it's me. Like I'm not thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
Like surfing at the moment.
Yeah, you get
I'm
into
blessed,
that.
man. Yeah, I love
How
it,
you going
man.
with that? I was talking to him this morning about it, and he's like, he's the same, bro. He's very competitive, and if he's into something, then he has to get good at it.
Yeah.
And he's saying, how is that going?
Oh, mate, like Wipeout City. It was an impulsive buy by both of us. We just bought a board, and we both never really surfed before in our lives, and we just started going out. But that was cool, because that to me is being a kid again, and being out there and just trying new things. Different again, clarity. Just don't think about anything else. But yeah, it's a game. It's a game against yourself again. Like fishing, love it because it's a game. Surfing, it's a game against myself. Even just going for a drive, man. Going for a drive out in the country, just seeing some landscape sometimes really sort of hits home. Like I love it. Like it's something special. So
for sure. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on. What's something that you're grateful for today?
Mate, I'm honestly just grateful to turn up each day. Like I'm grateful just to be here and living my best life and not having too much of a worry in my life. So man, I think it's not overthinking stuff. That's what I'm grateful for.
Man. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Another epic podcast. I love this shit. We're looking to 2022 at the moment. This will probably be the last THATFIT podcast before next year. Definitely got some planning to do around that. So as always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. There's going to be obviously other content. We're working on doing vlogging and stuff as well for THATFIT to take you guys in behind the scenes of everything. So hope everyone's had an amazing day. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and as always, stay fit and stay vibey.
Thanks, guys.